We haven't gone beyond the gates in a while. Jeepers creepers, it's been like 3 months. Oh, wait, something just got revealed. Let's see what it... What the fuck? What's up, you guys? So, yeah, today we're going to be doing my thoughts on the 2026 Hammond collection figures that were revealed just earlier today as of recording this. So, you know what, let's just kick things off with the Scorpius Rex figure. Also, I deeply apologize for the thumbnail before we begin. Anyway, so, this whole wave is just completely chopped. Like, I swear, man, I don't know why they decided to go this direction this year, but they did. And, boy, it looks terrible. There's only, like, 2 good figures in the entire thing. Which, yes, it is surprising that there are good figures in this wave. But we'll get into that in a minute. But first of all, I know what we're all thinking, but the Scorpius Rex just looks like a fucking gooner dinosaur. For whatever reason, this figure comes with a saliva piece. And I genuinely don't know why it comes with that. None of the other figures in the history of Mattel have ever came with one. And seriously, did no one look at this and was like, that does not look exactly like saliva. It actually looks like there's a bunch of cum inside of its mouth. But I guess not, apparently. Okay, look, I am very dirty-minded, but even then, like, come on, you can see it too. This figure also comes with a interchangeable pair of hands, which I do kind of like that they're going to be sticking with the whole accessory thing for future Hammond collection figures. But, honestly, I do wish it came with, like, hands that look to be planted on the ground. But, honestly, even with those pair of hands, nothing is going to save it from looking like a gooner. Oh, and there's no head articulation, which, that's nice. But, I'm going to be real, that is the least of its problems. Moving on, we got the Mutodon, which doesn't look as bad as the Scorpius Rex, but it looks pretty fugly. Now, I do really like the fact that this figure comes with interchangeable arms rather than having a posable wing. I think it makes it a little bit more interesting, so that way you can get 2 Mutodons and have one with folded-in arms and one with extended arms. But then again, that doesn't really save the figure too much. The metatarsals look very much unnaturally long, and by the way, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, it's those 2 parts that connect the feet to the legs. And also, the figure just overall, in general, looks very horribly designed, which, I mean, I guess I can't really hold that too much against them, because the Mutodon itself already looks very bad, but still, that's just very weird. And now we're going to move on to the Hysphelodon. I think that's how you say it. I don't know, I'm just going to call him Barnaby for the rest of this video. Barnaby over here is looking very much strange, and when I say strange, I mean truly strange. I mean, it looks to be a hybrid between Daryl and Jack, or the Hammond Collection Dryosaurus and the Hammond Collection Baby T-Rex. And overall, it just doesn't look good at all. Not to mention the fact that its eye genuinely looks very awful. Like, good golly. For whatever reason, this figure's colors remind me of a different figure. I can't really pinpoint what it is yet. But, yeah, this figure has beak teeth, which I don't understand why it has beak teeth. I mean, I think we may have established that before, that this figure that these animals don't have beak teeth, and the whole point of beaks is that they're not supposed to be teeth in there. But, it's Mattel, so whatever. And now we're going to be moving on to probably the most anticipated figure of the year, and one that I think looks kind of nice, the Hammond Collection Indominus Rex. Now, admittedly, whenever I looked at this figure initially, it looked very much terrible. But after looking at it after a little while, especially looking at this photo, I can say it looks pretty nice, actually. But I don't understand why there's pink around the mouth, specifically behind the teeth. That's just kind of weird to me. This figure comes with a second pair of alternate hands, and this is the very first and hopefully only Hammond Collection figure that has bow damage, actually. And it's very reminiscent of the dino damage from the 90s, where you can just remove the skin off of its body. And I don't really know how to feel about that. I really hope this concept doesn't spread among other Hammond Collection figures, because I'm going to be honest, that does not look very good at all. But, yeah. There are definitely flaws in this figure. Like, first of all, the alternate hands barely look any different. And like I said, for the Scorpius Rex, I really wish they would have had a separate pair where it looks like they were planted on the ground. But I guess I'll take it. And also, I feel like it should have a little bit more quills on the base of its head. And also, I don't know why it's so gray. Like, they've made it white in the past. It's meant to be white or a light gray. Why is it kind of like medium gray? And now we're going to be moving on to my favorite reveal, actually. The Hammond Collection Rebirth Dilophosaurus. And boy howdy, does this thing look like an improvement from the previous figure. The tail appears to be a bit longer than it was before, and the frill looks pretty nice. The closed frill, I mean. But there's still some things about it that aren't the best about it. Yeah, aside from potentially retooling the legs, this figure pretty much just uses the exact same sculpt as the original Hammond Collection Dilophosaurus, which I wish they would have moved to a slightly different sculpt. I think that would have helped the figure a little bit more, but I mean, I guess I'll deal with this. Also, this isn't an issue with the figure itself, but why on earth does Mattel keep putting the frill upside down? I mean, for crying out loud, they did this whenever they initially revealed the Hammond Collection Dilophosaurus. Why is it upside down again? Aside from all of that, this is probably the best figure that has been revealed so far this year, and I genuinely can't wait for it to release. And I'm definitely going to be buying a lot of these, because, yeah, I'm not going to repeat the mistakes as last time and only get one. But, yeah, I love this figure. Hell, I might even buy one just so I can experiment with the original Dilophosaurus and see if any of the parts would work on it. And now we'll be moving on to perhaps the most interesting reveal of the bunch, the Hammond Collection Aqualops. Oh, right off the bat, you'll probably assume that Mattel somehow managed to create the smallest Hammond Collection figure ever, because the Aqualops is pretty tiny. However, you would be wrong under that assumption, because this is actually a screen scale version. What does that mean exactly? Well, it basically means that it's the exact same size as the prop, or at least it's supposed to be. Now, while that is a very much interesting concept, I feel like it really just has no place in the Hammond Collection. I mean, this figure is going to be very different from the others. First of all, it's going to be out of scale, as previously mentioned. It's also going to have real feel skin, which is not like any other Hammond Collection figure. And, yeah. Also, they did it again. There's no fucking ankle articulation. They're going back to square one. Okay, I can kind of get as to why they didn't include articulation with this ankle articulation with this figure, because it's shown standing up on its hind legs, and it would be kind of difficult to do that over time with loose ankles. But then again, like, if you're making a full-size figure, why not give it its full range of articulation? And also, it's kind of disappointing that there isn't a ball joint in the tail. But I guess that's kind of understandable, because actual animals in real life don't just have ball joint seams in their tails. But it's still weird. And plus the head just looks very much goofy. Now, I get it, it's meant to be a more of a baby type of figure, so it's going to have like huge eyes, but it still just looks really goofy to me, and I can't really explain it. Now, while I do think that this figure should not be in the Hammond Collection by any means due to its out of scale, due to it being screen scale rather than it being the usual 1/18 scale that the Hammond Collection figures are, I do kind of hope they make a couple more screen scale figures in the future, like maybe a screen scale Compsognathus, or hell, maybe even a Microceratops, but yeah, who knows? That is to be determined. But, yeah, overall, this new wave sucks. At least 2/3 of it suck. Anyways, that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one, and bye.